Warning! The Wave Rider only has one bathroom.
Oh, that's shitty.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for Legends of Tomorrow, Season 3, Episode 4, Phone Home. I'm your host, Dom. Joining me is Nikki and Rachel. How's it going?
Heyo.
Hello.
So, E.T.
I kind of called it.
It's a big, huge E.T. reference. Like, I would expected more E.T., but like, it was kind of themed around E.T.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've never watched it, you're kind of clueless. Just a little bit. But there are some big, like, iconic things that people talk about all the time that even if you haven't watched it, you get it.
I've never seen E.T.
Bullshit.
I've never seen more than the first 10 minutes of E.T.
He got scared. He was a little boy.
Oh my God.
E.T. was stealing the Reese's Pieces, and that was Dom's favorite little snack when he's a boy.
I was eating Reese's Pieces at the time, and my parents. My parents were not home. My parents were not home, and
Reese's Pieces. That's not how it's said.
Okay, I won't tell the story then. Go ahead. Anyway, continue. Just talk over, but we'll keep going. So, 1988 Ivytown. What did you guys think?
It looked like a regular town to me, and
Ray was a little. He was a little more forward when he was a kid.
He didn't have a filter.
No.
Most kids don't have a filter at that age.
No, but I'm not just so much like words, but just like he was a little more. He's stealing things. He was, tricking the security guards to get the key to the laboratory.
He was only doing that because of Gumball.
Well, I know that, but still, so that's something he really would do right now in this day.
No.
The present Ray wouldn't do that.
I just love when we first start. It's just like, okay, Ray Palmer running from some government agent, and then he gets shot. And then all of a sudden, our Ray, who's in the middle of trying to, like, bond with Zari, and it's like, look, we need team-building exercises. Mick, I paid you, or I'm about to pay you. You got to do this trust fall thing for me. He's like, all right. And Ray just disappears in the middle of the trust fall.
Because he dead or died.
Mick was so pissed.
No.
But at the same time, he was concerned. Mick is growing on me. Like, I love Mick, but like he is more like one of those girls that you give a name to and you never want it to go away. You kind of like treat it like a baby. Believe me, people do that.
They're crazy.
They're crazy.
They called crazies.
But no, like he's even more lovable this season because, I mean, he's a total dickwad. Can't get away from that. He's just like that. But the amount of connections he's made to everybody on the team, it just, you know he's a human because of that. You can see he cares.
Yeah.
Especially this episode when, he wants to help with Stein.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the fact, Zari's like, I already got you guys all figured out. And he's been drunk since he woke up. It's like she's nailing everyone.
She called everybody out. Everyone nailed it.
I mean, Jackson's like he's trying to figure out how to get with me, and he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that was fantastic. But like when Ray disappeared, and then they're like, all right, well, we got to go back to 1980. Well, let's go back 3 days before or whatever. And as soon as they land, it's all of a sudden it's just like, oh, Ray's back. He just like materializes because he hasn't died yet. It's just like,
yeah.
I wish they like describe what it felt like to him to like die and then come back and like disappear and reappear kind of thing.
That'd be kind of interesting.
I mean, it almost looked like it didn't even faze him. Like nothing, no time was.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Like if he just expressed, what are you talking about? Where I didn't go anywhere. Like. So he didn't have any recollection. That would have been good to kind of explore that because that's something I want to know. Like, what that was like.
Wasn't any clarification. He just came back and they just went on as business as usual kind of thing.
Yeah. So, but Ray, of course, was super optimistic. through the whole thing. So
that was annoying, Zari, like no one's business.
oh yeah.
But then again, that's just Ray.
Yep. And then
That's
young
why
Ray.
he's the dumbest smart person.
And then young Ray, he's sitting here thanking his teacher for the pop quiz, and then he's stealing candy from the newsstand, making Mick super proud of him.
Like daddy mode right there. Just like good.
Yep.
Good on you, son.
And that's when they track Ray back to his house and discover that he has a baby Dominator.
So adorable.
It was adorably cute. Like you look at the mom and you're like, how? It's kind of like when you make fun of your cousins or like your nieces and nephews when they grow up. You're like, what happened to you? Well, really, what the happened? When they're that cute when they start out, and then they're that like what the hell?
Yeah. But Zari and Ray go inside, try to take the baby Dominator when young Ray goes to school, but he plays hooky and stays home, and he's making popcorn for Gumball. And Zari has to hide under the bed. Ray shrinks down to the size of an action figure and goes right into the mouth of Gumball. So I thought that was kind of cool.
They're watching musicals.
Like, yeah, I thought that was kind of cool though. That he's like an action figure sitting on the kind. He's like, I don't remember you. You know, it's just like, and then they sit down and they put on "Singing in the Rain."
Singing in the Rain.
And
I loved how Gumball got down, and he did like the same position as Ray, and put his little hands under his chin, like his on his belly, and it kicked his feet up.
This whole episode, Gumball reminded me of Baby Groot.
You know what? Yeah, a little bit.
You know, that's kind of the feel I got from this. Like this was Baby Groot, and it was fantastic.
I hope we see Gumball again, though.
Oh, I 100% think we will.
I'm excited,
but not as Baby Gumball.
Mm-mm.
I think we're gonna get an adult Gumball, and you know he's gonna have a connection, recognize Ray, remember Ray, and that may just change the whole Dominator situation.
Wow. Yeah.
You know.
And maybe, well.
Or at least Gumball acts alone and helps them, kind of deal. You know.
Yeah, I mean that can create ripples through all of the shows.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Because in Supergirl, Mon-El's mom was like colleagues with the Dominators.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
yeah,
then,
the only logistical thing right now, though, is Supergirl is technically on her own Earth with her own set of Dominators. So, you know, that's the only logistical kind of, you know.
They're in space. You don't know.
Yeah.
Space is huge.
I don't know. Who knows? With the crossover, we may finally merge the worlds. Who knows?
Maybe. Oh, gosh. Oh, man.
It would be fantastic. But yeah, the Mominator came down.
The
Mominator.
Fucking Nate.
Came down and attacked Sarah. And we find out not only is this the Mominator, but it's also the Queen.
Yeah. You would expect the Queen to have like some of her subjects with her and stuff like that, but she was legit alone.
She's a badass. She doesn't need anyone else.
Well, I mean, backup? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you look at colonies that have a queen, usually they're highly protected. And I'm not even just talking like ants and bees or anything like that. I'm talking about like anything from the sci-fi universe. When there is a queen, they're highly protected, or they're they're stuck away to be protected. But like,
well, we don't know how the Dominators run.
Yeah, I'm assuming from what we know already.
But a lot of mom things going on in this episode. All the moms. I mean, with Nate and Ray's mom, that was fucking hilarious.
That whole situation with Amaya and Nate and the mom was, I don't know if it really mattered that much.
Mm-hmm. No, but at the same time, it's like, you know what, Amaya, you need to talk about it. You need to tell him why he left. You need to talk. You guys need to talk about it. You can't just be like, oh, we'll just go back to being friends. Because he's like, no, I can't do that. You left on my birthday, kind of thing, you know. And it's like, you need to talk about it. And she's the one putting it underneath the rug, and he's like bringing it up and sticking it to her every single time.
I thought they were over this. They understood
Oh,
each
they're
other.
not. Not even close. Hell, Zari even pointed it out. Even called them out on them.
I
They're like,
guess.
there's nothing. Bullshit.
No, there's definitely some conflict there, you know, and it's more Maya's trying to be professional about it. Nate, you know, is trying to ignore it, and it's not working out well for either of them. So, but
they just need to sit down and have a good one-on-one without synthetic.
Nate had a good
drugs.
one-on-one with the Mominator.
Yes,
Oh,
he did.
God. He's like, I'm going to brush my teeth forever now.
Yeah, but to be fair, he thought it was Ray's mom.
Yeah, Ray's out. We're going to talk about. No, I'm not talking about your mom and me. He's just
I didn't know your mom was hot. Why wouldn't you mention that? Why would I mention that? You know, like, Ray.
But she is single. It seems like that she's a single mom. So what happened to
Yeah.
Ray's dad?
Yeah. Yeah, Lee says, the Tomb Cougar in that way wasn't around in the 1980s. No, definitely not.
No.
No, it went right over her head.
Yeah,
If
but
it was a
that's-
mom from this,
that's the
from
beauty
this
of comedy,
generation,
though.
yeah.
You know, that's why it's funny,
Yep.
because it's funny to us, because we know what it means. To her, she's ignorant. Not that
I
she's
don't even think
ignorant,
Maya
but
knew.
she's
I don't
ignorant in
even
our
think she
regard.
knew.
You know? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't think she did either.
Yeah, so like that went over both of their heads, and he's just sitting there awkwardly, and it's like there's a cougar in the house. It's like both Maya and her just like look around, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, there's no cougar.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
But we did find out that little Ray likes to bring home wild animals. So
Wild animals.
It wasn't
Yeah.
too much of a shock to her.
And his mom is really worried that, you know, he spends too much time alone, he's too into his inventions, things like that. Like, she was concerned, and Ray was completely oblivious to it. He's like, my mom loved my inventions. These two kids, they're not bullies, they're my friends. You know, like, he's completely oblivious to it now, even as an adult. Until he was there watching it from, you know, not being in that perspective, you know? So
But like,
We
to
didn't
be
even see
fair,
his brother. We didn't
be
see
fair,
his brother
he-
either. So
even with common sense stuff, Ray is still oblivious as an adult. He should have learned this stuff growing up. Obviously, he didn't because of how precious he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the Mominator went right for Sarah.
Hmm.
Attacked Sarah. Probed her mind for answers. And they're in the middle of trying to break in and save Ray from the feds. Right now, this was some kind of reference to the ET feds, right?
of course, that was the whole episode was
Yeah.
very ET-ish.
They're
And I said last week when they were showing them, you know, being chased and stuff like that, I'm like, that reminds me so much of ET.
yeah.
So yeah, so I was kind of I was like, okay, they're gonna do something like that. They're gonna do like an '80s movie flashback kind of thing for this episode. So I had a feeling.
Yeah.
They got to do at least one a season because we got
Well-
Spielberg stuff last season as well, didn't we? And Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Yeah. Well, like I was
So-
trying to explain at the beginning, I never made it very far in ET. I got to... My parents went away. I'll never forget this. My parents went away, and I had my grandmother over, who was babysitting. My grandmother fell asleep on the couch. I went downstairs to our entertainment room, and I found the ET VHS tape. I popped it in the VCR. I could have been no older than 3 at the time. And I put it in, and I'm eating a bag of Reese's Pieces that I had. And E.T. is creeping through this guy's house, stealing all the Reese's Pieces on the floor. And I was like, nope. And I shut it off. I've never finished E.T. I've never watched it to this day. So I know a lot of the iconic scenes, like were mentioned, the bicycle, you know, obviously the Reese's Pieces, the E.T. phone home, the finger, the basket. Like, I know all that. still have not watched the movie to this day. So there were a lot of references, even the ones that I caught. I'm sure there were plenty of ET references that I didn't catch because I don't know
the plastic hallways, because that was in the movie. Basically, the whole lab kind of was very, very reminiscent of ET, except in ET it was all outside, and it was like it was like a bubble house.
Yeah,
it was like a bouncy house. That's what it was kind of like.
Yeah,
it was like
it's literally it's literally what they do when they need to do a pop-up station, say like in the middle of Africa when they're dealing like it's
a mobile lab,
disease control and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's very much like that, except this was in a building, correct? So
yes, it was. Can't remember where they said it was the community center or something somewhere that Ray knew where it was at. So
yeah. Lee says, and what 7-year-old 1988 has his favorite movie being Singing in the Rain?
Growing up, I had many musicals.
Yes.
From the moment I could comprehend what was on the TV, I watched musicals a lot. I still do.
I still do. My favorite one is My Fair Lady. Is my favorite one.
And if you want to be technical, every Disney movie is called an animated musical up to a certain point.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm just saying, kids grow up watching animated musicals because of Disney. It's not an unheard thing.
What Lee's getting at is in 1988,
I know.
as a 7-year-old boy, Singing in the Rain over Star Wars? Like, really?
Star Wars is one of his favorites too.
But who said he couldn't like both? That's ridiculous to think.
I didn't say he couldn't like it. I'm saying favorite movie.
Well,
no, he said his favorite musical. He did
musical.
He did say exactly his favorite.
This is
musical.
Ray Palmer. He has categories. He has categories. His favorite musical, Singing in the Rain. Probably his favorite sci-fi, Star Wars. He has categories. Even at this age, that's how he is.
I mean,
beyond other 7-year-olds.
I will give it to the fact that, making so much emphasis on Singing in the Rain led us to that great musical scene with,
that was hilarious.
The federal agents.
That was awesome.
It was so cringeworthy that it was hysterical. I loved every second of it.
I love that Ray stopped. You guys are doing. This is the good part. Like, oh God. He's like, you guys are doing really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, the Zari with the using the amulet to make the flying bicycles. I do agree. I believe it was Red Bandit in chat.
It was overkill. I groaned and rolled my eyes.
I mean, I appreciated the reference.
Mm-hmm.
I chuckled at it a little bit, but yeah, it was overkill. I would have preferred them going over like a giant dirt ramp, and for a split second, it cuts away to like them airbound and the moon in the background, but then they land, right away. But flying through the whole time on the bike was just a little ridiculous.
I mean, that's how it works.
It's.
I know it's a reference, CT.
And not just a reference. It's the shortest distance between two lines is a straight line. Between 2 points is a straight line. So instead of going all through the woods to get to the mama, she's just flying them straight there.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
They also do.
I didn't say it
faster.
didn't. I didn't say it didn't make sense. I just think it was overkill.
I don't think so. No.
I don't know. I feel E.T. was out before. I mean, as Ray Palmer was that age, right? It was out before 1988.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It came out in 82, I think.
So yeah, he would know about this scene. I would have felt like he would have said something as he's up. I know he was very impressed up in the air, but
June of 82.
I originally got the bite on my sister. Now I'm doing it.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe him making a joke about flying like an ET would have maybe lightened it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
I would have preferred for it to happen before E.T. and then watch like Spielberg looking out on a front porch, like what?
No.
And it like inspires it. Like that would have been cooler to me, But
then again,
still.
at this time, he might not have seen E.T. because when it came out, it was 82, and this is 88, so he was really, really, really young.
Yeah.
And he might not have it. He might not got the VHS right away.
Might not have. No. But yeah, he does choose to give Gumball back to the Dominator, and the Dominator do the whole mommy, and it's like running to, and then it stops and it like turns around and it has to say goodbye to Baby Ray, not baby but young Ray.
Baby Ray, isn't that a barbecue sauce?
Bubba Ray.
Oh.
No, there's.
I don't.
I can't remember. There probably
I think
is.
it's Sweet Baby Ray's. There's.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is Sweet Baby Ray's there.
Sweet Baby Ray's ribs. Yeah. Yeah, it's a barbecue sauce. But yeah. So. Before they leave though, before they say goodbye to young Ray, they decide to gear up in their full suits and join young Ray for some trick-or-treating to stand up to his bully friends.
That was so cool. And I want to know how that, impacted him. Because, they were very impressed. They were like, whoa, these are your friends? Like, wow. And, would have that changed his reputation growing up? Would that have changed how he invented things? Became Ray Palmer as he is now? Like, it's like this whole time bullshit is so like I was still thinking that he was in that freaking
Don't
halfway
forget,
house with
sometimes
time peoples.
Sometimes they change things for the better.
Yeah.
He might not have the memories right now. They might be starting to catch up.
Even if so, I don't think it's anything super
happened.
dramatic. I think he's still going to be like a kid that did science and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Look what it did with Stein. After his daughter was born, which wasn't supposed to be, he gradually started getting the memories of her when she was a baby.
Yeah.
It is something that time catches up with him.
Yeah.
Right.
So when they get back to the ship, Ray and Zari play a game, 2 Truths and a Lie. That she was called Z when she was younger. That she loves musicals, and that she got up to the final boss in Legend of Zelda, and did not defeat him.
I don't like the fact that there's they outline video game and they don't highlight candy in her time period. I don't like this future.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's why he knew which one was a lie. Not only because she's already told him they never played video games like that in the house, but she also didn't know the name of the last boss, Ganon. So, if that were the truth, she would have said Ganon.
Yeah.
So, immediately, Ray was just like,
let's go watch that musical.
Yep.
I knew as soon
she
as
was chowing on that candy though, man. She was just
I
like,
knew as
No, I
soon
don't
as
blame
they
her.
were leaving that I was like, they're gonna go back and Ray's gonna have the memory of young Ray and Zari, having the musical. Oh, I can't watch. I'd love to, but I can't right now. I was like, oh, Ray's gonna go back to the ship. He's gonna have the memory of young Ray, and he's like, how about that musical you owe me? I thought that's what was gonna happen, but it's still kind of played out that way, just without the memory. So, it was kind of cool. But one of the big important things this episode was, when Zari was on the ship and she was calling everybody out on their bullshit, she was just like, this old guy here, he doesn't even want to be on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of leads to this little side plot of Stein supposedly been jumping off the ship. He erased the logs. Mick thinks he's been talking to the Time Bureau.
well, it looks pretty suspicious.
It does. He changed the whole storage room that they had into a lab, and finds blueprints, basically, for a radio transmitter to communicate through time. As soon as they mentioned that, I was like, okay, that's not for the Time Bureau, that's for his daughter. And sure enough, that's what they revealed.
I had a feeling it was because she was pretty close.
Yeah.
And granted, now he looks back and he's like, I should have said something. It's like, yeah, you should have said something. I'm pretty sure the rest of the team would have been like, okay, yes, go watch your grandbaby be born. No one's going to be like, no, you can't go.
what he was doing was in no way malicious to the team. He has no reason to hold that back. They already know Lily's fucking pregnant. They know he wanted to stay back, that he had to be convinced to come back on the ship with Jax. For him to be like, hey guys, I'm going to do this. Is it okay? Even if it's not okay, I'm still going to do it. They're going to be like, yeah, whatever. Go ahead. This is your family. We are family. We are part of your family. Do it. We want to know too. So here's another stupid smart person. Like, what is it with this show?
Stupid smart people. Common sense.
Because they try to do that, and to a degree, and it's not always the case, but more times than not, that is the case. You know, like, they're too intelligent to see what's right in front of them, kind of deal, because they're always trying to figure out everything that hasn't happened. You know, that's not always the case, but that's the big stereotype, and it is true a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. But they after Mick destroys the jump ship, they end up having to take the Wave Rider, which puts them into a little predicament back in 1988. But they end up, getting through, and that's, the Dominator, and they made the plans, and, everything was fine there. But, they take the Wave Rider to go back to present day, so Stein could be there for the birth of his granddaughter. It's his first grandson, sorry. It's his first grandkid at all,
Yeah.
And they decide to name the kid Ronnie. Now, is that because of Ronnie, the other half of Firestorm originally? Is that the sentiment, or is it she chose that name without knowledge of that?
I feel like it is a sentiment.
Well, she probably did know, because if she was alive during, then she would know him. So yeah.
Yeah. So, like, we were talking a little bit about this in the Flash, or after the Flash, I think it was, in our post show. But I would like if Ronnie's born, future Ronnie comes back from the future and looks exactly like the Ronnie we knew, and turns out to be dating Caitlyn and the other half of Firestorm, and it's basically like a closed circuit loop. I would absolutely love that.
Leave it to this show to do something like that, though.
It would. I mean, this is the only show that could pull that off right now, in the DC universe. I would love that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would absolutely love it. Because I believe Ronnie, who was played by Robbie Amell, I believe he's busy in something else at the moment.
He's doing movies.
I thought he finished the last thing. I thought he finished the last thing he was involved in, but I don't remember now if he just recently started something else. He was in a movie that's coming out next year called When We First Met, but it's in post-production right now, so he's not really tied to that. But apparently he was on 2 episodes of the new X-Files. So...
Okay. I have not sat down to watch that, so...
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, when you were explaining that whole closed loop thing, I got to the point where you're like, and then he comes back in time, and I was like, yeah, and then, they take Stein away from Jax, they and then they fuse the baby Ronnie, who is now grown up, to Jax, so there's a whole Firestorm again. And I was like, yeah, I'm totally digging that. And then you're like, and then he goes back in time again, starts saying, I'm like, no, stop it.
Well, I never said anything about what you were thinking. Your
No,
thoughts cut me off.
What happens is you got to that point and my brain went a completely different direction. And I started thinking about what the whole Firestorm thing, but you went to the whole
original
dating
Firestorm
Caitlyn thing. And I was like,
You were going to replace Stein as new Firestorm, and I was going to be the original Firestorm.
Yep.
But yeah, it would be interesting because Jax does want to break up Firestorm now. He realizes, Stein wants to be with his family and wants the future, whatever. We also know the actor is not sticking around the season, so we knew this was coming. So, but yeah.
That would be one way to fix it. So
it would.
But I don't know if that's going to be...
Probably not.
I don't know. I mean, I also had high hopes that Wally would come over to the Legends because he's doing his shit too. So it's like all my my dreams and hopes are just being shattered, and I'm just looking forward to Grodd. Everything else doesn't matter right now.
Yeah.
Give me Grodd.
Yeah. You guys have anything else for this episode?
Well, I mean, I just hope I'm just waiting. Hopefully they do it, where Ray starts getting his little memories back from this point in time. Because at the point they're like, "Oh, you had a baby dominator." He goes, "Oh no, I don't. At least not this Ray did it."
Yeah.
He had like no memory of it, so yeah, it hadn't caught up yet.
Yeah, definitely not yet.
The only last thing I want to say is, give me your candy and your allowance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we know where Victor Garber is going? After the Flash, has he said anything yet?
I don't think so.
He's retiring. I don't know.
No.
No. I mean, I'm sure a lot of that will be revealed closer to when he starts leave or when he's leaving the show. So
Yeah. That'll be
Yeah.
something.
he's gonna have to make a comment.
Correct.
Yeah, I know he's done some voice roles for movies and things like that, but he hasn't really been in anything. Apparently he has a reoccurring role on The Orville.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and he is a Broadway person.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah. So I think he's as Lee says, he is Broadway. He's gonna be in Hello Dolly for 2018 musical. So I know he's doing that, but it seems like he's gonna do the reoccurring Orville role
That'll suit
when
him
he
so
can,
well.
as he can, fit in. So yeah, that's pretty good. Makes sense. I don't know. So I would like to see how they're going to work out this whole thing with Firestorm. If they're going to be able to make Jax stable by himself, or if they're going to need another partner, because he did approach Ray with this, So
Yeah.
if anybody could come up with a solution for it, it's going to be Ray.
Yeah, definitely.
So, next episode though is called "Return of the Mac." When Nate thinks he has found a pattern to the acronyms, it leads the legends to London in 1897 to hunt down a time-traveling vampire. When they arrive in London, they run into Rip, but not everyone welcomes him back so quickly, leaving Sarah to make a tough choice in the end. Amaya tries to connect with Zari, but she is still struggling with being part of the team. Meanwhile, Stein discovers what Ray and Jax are up to and is not entirely pleased.
Stein,
Just shh.
yeah.
Just let it happen. Shh.
I mean, maybe including him in it might make it
Yeah.
better.
Well,
but
that's
like,
what it says entirely. It means he's pleased at some extent, just not
Yeah.
entirely pleased.
Well, they weren't entirely pleased that he was keeping a secret about jumping the ship and going back home.
Yeah.
So,
that was really cute though, because Mick's like, you know what, screw, because he screwed up the shuttle to leave, and then once he realized what was going on, he's like, it's okay, we're taking the Wave Rider. They'll deal with it. He just didn't care. He was like, we're going. So that was really nice. Like I said earlier, Mick is just, he's grown so much as
I'm
a,
wondering. I'm wondering if his present self telling his past self that that he's not the one, he's not at fault for what happened to him, and also going to step back at the home, is finally like starting maybe catching up with him. I mean, he did tell little Mick, he did have a heart to heart with him. Basically, he's like, it's not your fault what happened, and
Yep.
maybe it's finally catching up with him.
Yep.
Yep, shot it.
Yep. Shot him. So I think that's about it. Before we do the outros, I just want to let you guys know, next week all the live shows. I'm going to be moving to twitch.tv/ASOTV podcast, so don't forget. Nikki, where can the people find you?
On Twitter, at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
Get a frog in there.
Oh, yeah. Ribbit.
Rachel, where can the people find you?
They can find me at Twitter at VikingWitch76 and at Twitch on VikingWitch.
Excellent. You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. And you can find us all and more on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, and right here on YouTube, and next week on twitch.tv/ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, games, and movies. Till then. Why are you still waving?
It's just a reflex.
Acid reflux?
Yeah.
She's done with you.